Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Georgie Jacobs tōku ingoa no Aotearoa hau, nau mai, hara mai. Welcome back to my channel. For those that are viewing for the first time, welcome aboard. For those that are returning, thank you very much. Today I have a beautiful wahine with me. I was happy when she rang me this morning to see if we can do a catch-up. So I thought, while you're here, we might as well do your interview. So I'm going to let her introduce herself to you. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Kia ora, everybody. Thank you, Georgie. Tēnā koutou, everybody. My name's Donna, and I'm from Tūwhareatoa, Whangaroa and Ngāti Hawa, and I currently am living in Kaingaroa Village.
Awesome. So, Donna, can you just tell us a little bit of your background? What was it like, in the journey that you've been on so far?
Right. So, we're all spiritual, and everybody's got a gut instinct, or they have dreams. That's spirituality. But for me, it was back in 2017 when I had like an experience happen to me. I was reading the Bible for sovereignty, and I had this overwhelming gratitude for the being named Jesus, and went to the toilet to have a cry, and then had a magnetic shock to my brain, and it went down my back and came back up again, and I've never been the same. So it shifted my mind. My mind shifted from that moment onwards.
So tell us a little bit more about your experience. What actually happened, An example.
This is just my experience. Everybody has their own experience. For me, just everything heightened, like all my senses heightened. I could see things that I couldn't see before. I could hear things that I couldn't hear before. My sense of smell was very, very strong. I could be around people, and for me, if I smell sickness on a person, it smells like pine. So if I could smell pine, but I didn't know this at the time. I had to learn about all of these, what they meant for me, because we all have our own different signs and symbols and things like that. Yeah. My senses were heightened. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I didn't have to. My energy was just I was running on energy. I was running on energy. And you realize then you don't have to consume so much. That consumption itself is quite heavy for the body. I didn't need to sleep, or I only ate when I was hungry, drank when I was thirsty, and slept when I was tired, which was very rarely. I could start for like 4 or 5 days and then only have 3 hours sleep and just be a box of birds. The energy is super, super heightened.
Wow, running on energy. Oh my goodness. So where did it take you? The journey, where did it take you when that all started happening?
It's very strange, actually, because you start to see another world and you don't know if you're going crazy. Because, like I said, my senses were so heightened, so I could see things that I'd never seen before and hear things that I'd never heard before, and I was quite scared at some of them because some of the things were quite scary, or information that was coming in was quite scary, because I had a fearful outlook. So the first thing I had to start to do was peel back all the layers of fear and just come from a fresh point of view, rather than what I've heard about what happens when you have like a spiritual awakening. Because sometimes we think that it's a one size fits all, and it isn't. It isn't.
That spiritual awakening is amazing.
Yeah.
Once it does come, yes. And you start to evolve.
Spiritually. You expand. Your mind expands. Your heart expands. Everything just expands, and you have a sense of like knowing now. You know things now that something that you might have learned last year that you didn't quite understand or didn't make any sense might make sense now, like in its entirety. You can feel it too sometimes.
So do you find yourself like almost in different parallel worlds?
Yes, all the time, actually. When I first went through my awakening, because you get lots of information, it can for some people go to your head, and you can start to feel like you know everything, and you can call on it the tupunas and the atuas, and be quite egotistical about it. And that happened to me, and I burnt out and I hit rock bottom again, and then I had to work myself back up again. And then once I did that, I started to be a bit more inward and not so outward. I started to learn a bit more because I had a lot of knowledge by that time. I was getting lots of downloads all the time. I was able to, like, when people read tarot cards, I was able to look at like a bench that had just dishes on it and stuff, and I was able to read what was going to happen in the next week or so just from the materials that were on the bench. Or I could look at a picture and break it down. My senses and my perception had shifted, and there was a lot of filtering that I had to go through, and it wasn't because I didn't sleep. I had all those hours to just think and be in this. What is this place? Because what is this place? What is it?
Oh, that's amazing. Tell us a little bit more about, or just even an example of what you may have gone through, just one of the senses that you had. So you
well,
were
the feeling senses was super, super strong. All my senses were heightened, but the feeling senses was so strong. I cried a lot because I feel everything very, very like it's happening to me.
like an empath?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, highly empathic.
Yeah, and I always had, feelings towards people and don't want to hurt animals, all that sort of stuff, but nothing like this. You could literally be in front of people and you just feel everything that's going on in their life. And you can't say anything either sometimes because they'll think you're crazy at that time. Now it's more acceptable now than it used to be like 10 years ago, 5 years ago even. It's changing. It's really sped up now.
I think with the spiritual awakening happening more and more, and people starting to awaken to their spiritual journey,
yes,
or whatever it is that they're supposed to be doing on this earth, you start looking at different dimensions.
Yes,
you start looking. Your research is a bit more profound. You start looking at maybe star children and where do you come from. You start acknowledging who am I? Why am I here? All that purpose. So tell us a little bit more about your journey, because that sounds interesting.
I did that too. Like, I had to learn. I went to metaphysics, I think, because my awakening happened in May 2017. So from May till November, I was just going to classes, metaphysics, learning about star families, duality, the dualistic world, other dimensions, realms, all sorts of things. Like, this world is just so wow.
It's vast, isn't it, out there?
There's just there's so many things in play all at once, simultaneously.
And that makes sense. That actually makes sense because, as we were talking about, you're talking about duality and also talking about the parallel worlds, what's happening in ancient times, or what happened back then to what's happening now.
And that's what, like with my senses, that were being heightened, I could smell things. I could be in a place and I could smell the dirt or taste the dirt, smell the smoky fires that were of the past. Sometimes you can hear them too. You can hear them in the background. And like for a while I used to question, like, is that the wind? Is that the that? Is that the that? Because trusting yourself is a big thing. It's very hard if you've been kind of programmed to look outside yourself for validations and things like that. So trusting yourself and honoring yourself is a big thing.
That's the key. Knowing that who and what you are and why you're here.
And that I'm okay. And that there are going to be people that are not going to understand, and that's okay.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean that I need to go and change myself or anything, because I'm okay. Everybody's at their own level, and that's okay too.
Yeah, it's a level of learning, right? So, as they talk about the third dimension, which is right here on Earth, and then you go to the fourth, and as you start progressing or evolving, you start learning more and more and more downloads come. And then all of a sudden you just have this knowing, right? Correct?
Yeah. You can feel it, you sense it. And if you're so in tune you'll start getting signs that validate that for you and give you confirmation of that what you're thinking is true.
Yeah, and so you get a lot more synchronicities.
Yeah, and it happens faster the more that you trust yourself and you trust what you're seeing, you trust what you're getting. The answers will come a lot more faster, or the validation or confirmation comes. Like just the other day, I was talking about tanifas with somebody, and then like I told you, I got a book, and then another book came and it had things about tanifas in it. So it's just validation, and another one about telepathy, because I do believe that's the language that we're going back to. That's the communication we can have is telepathy. Yeah.
Yeah, I've known that about telepathy. You know, like I did share a story with you about that happening.
Yes.
You know, I didn't even pick it up. I just knew that it was there, and it's that knowing.
Yeah.
Right.
It
so
is. It's that knowing.
Speaking less, but listening more. Right.
And feeling.
Yeah.
Like really, really. You have to get your house in order. So your thoughts, your mind, body, spirit, heart, all have to be singing the same tune, and claim your space.
So you got to get rid of the negativity or the things that no longer serve you on your journey, right?
Yeah, well, you've got to look at them. No, I don't think anything's like negative or positive. It just is. And you know, you just got to. Do I want this anymore in my life? Is it serving? Is it helping me? No. Okay. Thank you for your help. You know, you served your purpose. Thank you. And then, yeah, take what you need.
I remember doing that with people, places, and things. Right? They no longer serve my purpose.
Yes.
Or where I was going spiritually, right? So as I started leaving those things, you know, and started evolving, did you find that what was an issue on, say, the third dimension, when you go up to like the fifth dimension, it's no longer a problem?
True, that's a good question. One of them, I think, is believing in yourself. I think in 3D we tend to want validation outside of ourselves, and for me personally, that was the big thing for me, because trusting yourself is the key, and then everything else will just fall into place, because you only have yourself to answer to, really. Well, at the end of the day,
correct, because you're the only one
that's stuck with you.
Yeah,
24/7.
That's right. So you're in charge of your own destiny, right?
And if you're going to berate yourself, like, it's only hindering yourself. And we all do it. Like, we all have that moment where we're like, oh fuck, that was stupid, you know. And yeah, we all have those moments, but we really do have to have a real solid core about who we are and know who we are, and lead with that. And there are a lot of people that don't have that confidence.
I think just building that foundation first, you know, like most of the time they've been through a lot of trauma and stuff like that.
And trauma plays a big part.
Yeah, so you end up doing the shadow work towards that, right?
Yeah.
Releasing it.
Yeah.
And then building that foundation for it not to return again.
Yes.
Right, and sticking to that. That'll help you evolve a little bit more.
Yes.
So that you're open to receive the messages that...
Yeah, well, it's kind of like information in your file. Information comes in. If you keep all that there, like, it builds up. So you have to get rid of some so that you can bring...
Correct.
You know, so you can make space for the new learnings to come in.
Absolutely. So while that was happening in your world, just give us an example of something that you released. You don't have to tell us what it was, but something that released, and then it opened it up for something better to come in for you.
Right. I know that I had a lot of guilt over my kids. You know, how we do as parents sometimes. And it did chew me up for a long time. But I got to the point where, you know, I've done my best. I've tried to redeem what I thought I had, you know, not done a good job at. And eventually you just forgive yourself.
Correct.
You just forgive yourself, and you're okay with that too.
I think when you take accountability for your part that you played in it, and then let them take
accountability is such a big part, because if you don't know what the problem is, you can't fix it. And some people don't, you know, they don't want to fix it yet. But yes, accountability is a major player. It's a major player. You have to come to, you know, your truth with yourself.
Absolutely. So healing one's soul, right? Healing yourself. That's the key, correct?
Yes.
Before you can help heal someone else, eh? Or help them to heal themselves.
Yeah, I guess. No, yes. Healing yourself and your soul is the key to everything, actually. It's the key to everything in your whole life. Your happiness, your relationships, just everything.
So once you've done that, you can then help them heal themselves, not try and do it for them.
No, you don't. You can never
Yeah.
do it for them, because people have to. They have to make the moves themselves if they want to change. You can inspire them. That's what you can try and do. You can relate to it, but you just got to be there. Just got to be there if they need a helping hand. Also, some people don't really want a helping hand, but they still want people to be there, and you have to be a bit aware of that too.
Yeah, I think, with all the knowledge and everything that you have grasped along the way in the spiritual awakening, sometimes we get a little bit not carried away, but we forget sometimes what we've already been taught or what we already know.
Yes.
And so we find ourselves reverting back to
The
their
old ways.
level.
Yeah.
It's not your level, but it's to their level so that you can communicate with them. And I think the beauty of it is being able to go from different levels of learning to speak with the people. Now, in order to have be on the right frequency, that you want to attract those sort of people into your world. And it's not saying that they're below you, the others are below you. No, it's just that you've evolved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you are what you vibrate. Eh?
Yes.
So those are the people that are going to start coming into your world. Hence why you're back here.
Yep, exactly, Georgie, because you're beautiful.
Oh, so are you. So are you. And I love your story.
Thank you.
I love your story, and I know there's a lot more in there.
There is.
But if you just want to share just an example with us of how it's helped you evolve, how it's taken you to your level of learning, where you are today, because you can jump through those different frequencies easily, right?
I think of it like singing. It's like singing. And singing, you have all these different notes. And that's like the levels of people's understanding, I think. So if you're able to go like, you can go to all of those different levels.
Oh, that's a really good way of looking at it, actually.
So you just go, it's a frequency. Music and notes are frequency anyway, so it is the level of frequency. But yeah, it's like musical notes. And that doesn't mean that we're always learning, like nobody out there knows everything. They might know everything for themselves, but not for the mass. But yeah.
I think just picking up different spiritual guidance along the way, because people come when you're putting out that frequency, right? You start meeting people on that same frequency who will help you on your journey of expansion, right? As you were talking about. So, is there anything you'd like to share with our viewers? Something, an experience maybe that you would like to share?
I just went blank.
It's all right. It's all right if you can't think of
I've
one
just
right
gone
now.
blank because I had this other thought in my head, and then you asked me the question too, and I just went blank on there. I have heaps of experiences. I just went blank though in my brain.
That's all right. We can leave it there. But if there's something you'd like to share with our viewers, please do. Oh, it's the time.
Oh, right.
I was going, That's all right.
I don't know, I've gone blank. So sorry.
That's all right. Because for me, it's like, knowing oneself, right, is more important than trying to help another person. And, you got to do you first. And I don't care what anyone says, you are important.
I went selfish for a bit, yeah. I mean, what people would call selfish. And I did that because I wanted to get to know myself, because I'd always been, someone's mum or someone's partner or someone's daughter or someone's friend, and I didn't really know who the heck I was.
You're not selfish, you're selfless. Because you're putting you first.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. There you go, selfless. I mean, I can see that now. At the time, though, I did feel like I just pulled everything back into just the me zone to find out, who am I? What makes me tick? What are my likes? Simple things.
Yeah, and that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
Right, what is it that's going to make me who I am? What do I need? Well, I need these sort of people around me,
Yeah.
So you start adjusting yourself and what your worth is. You start looking at what your worth is, right? Do these people deserve to be in my world? No. So you cut them out. But anyway, like I said, if there's something you'd like to share with our viewers today, you want to leave a little message with them, please do.
Thank you. Thank you for taking time out to have a listen to my korero. I do hope to come back because I do have a lot of stories. I just been all blank. This is my first time. But just aroha whānau. Aroha is the power.
So love is everything, right?
It is.
It's loving yourself first.
Well, the energy of love itself is a very, very powerful force. And it's like some people might think it's lovey-dovey and all that and airy-fairy. In some ways it can be, but the actual purest essence of it is super, super powerful. And, you know, when you're up against a society of what's going on at the moment, you need love.
Awesome.
You need love.
So we're going to leave it there.
All right.
Thank you, Donna.
No, thank you.
For
and
coming
thank you.
on. I really appreciate you taking the time
I appreciate
to come and sit with
There you
me and even just to share your story. That was amazing.
Thank you.
So on that, there we go. You heard it here first. I'm so proud of her and how she's evolved over the years. I've known her for a long time now, and we met when I was up in Kaingaroa. So on that, we're just going to end it here, and we'll see where it takes us next on our journey. Ka kite.